BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
New polling reveals a significant desire among Liberal voters for their party to embrace more progressive policies, moving away from perceived right-wing drift. As a substantial majority of Australians express support for the net zero climate target, the latest Guardian Essential poll, which surveyed over 1,000 voters, indicates a clear appetite for the coalition to explore a more moderate policy platform. When asked about the direction the Liberal Party should take to offer an alternative government for Australia, a notable 48% of respondents favored adopting more progressive positions, while 28% suggested maintaining their current stance. The least popular option, at just 24%, was to move towards more conservative policies. This inclination towards progressivism is even more pronounced among those who identify as coalition supporters themselves. Within this group, 49% called for more progressive positions, compared to 23% who backed the status quo and 29% who desired more conservative policies. This internal debate within the Liberal and National parties over climate targets, originally agreed upon by the Morrison government in 2021, is unfolding as the Essential poll sheds light on public sentiment. Overall, 44% of voters support the net zero target, with 27% opposing it and 29% remaining undecided. Among coalition voters, the division is sharper, with 35% supporting net zero and 38% opposed. In stark contrast, Labour and Greens voters show near identical strong support, with 60% in favour and only 13% against. Peter Lewis, executive director of Essential Media, commented on the findings, suggesting that the poll highlights a dissonance of the noise coming from the actual party rooms, and that the numbers suggest Liberal voters are looking at the current debate and want the Libs to mainstream the party. While the Liberal Party grapples with its policy direction, the leadership landscape also presents challenges. Sussan Ley retains a slight lead as the preferred choice to head the coalition, narrowly ahead of Andrew Hastie and Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price. However, the poll indicates that Ley is not immune to the party's broader struggles. Her personal approval rating has dipped to 32% approval and 43% disapproval, a net approval rating of -11, reflecting a downward trend. When asked who would be the best leader for the Liberal Party, only 13% of all voters pointed to Ley, with 10% each choosing Hastie and Price. A significant 42% were unsure, and 12% suggested somebody else, underscoring a lack of clear consensus among coalition voters specifically. While Ley received 22% support and Hastie 20%, a substantial 24% remained undecided, and 5% opted for someone else. Lewis further observed that Sussan Ley obviously is suffering in her leadership, but nobody else is on the rise. When given the options, the majority of voters will either opt for someone else or nobody. The polling also provides insights into voter perceptions of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's recent engagements. His meeting with Donald Trump garnered mixed reactions, with only 37% believing its outcomes would benefit Australia's long-term interests, while 18% viewed them negatively, and 26% predicted no impact. Specific aspects of the U.S. engagement also met with lukewarm reception. While 42% supported Trump's endorsement of the AUK-US pact, only 38% approved of Australia granting the U.S. access to a port facility in Fremantle in the critical minerals deal. Lewis interpreted these findings as warning signs for the government that despite the rave reviews for the Prime Minister's performance in Washington, the actual substance of the agreement with the U.S. doesn't have majority support. This multifaceted polling data paints a picture of an electorate seeking a more moderate and progressive direction from the Liberal Party, while also expressing reservations about the substance and impact of key government initiatives. Despite any perceived positive presentation, the internal divisions within the coalition on crucial issues like climate policy appear to be amplified by a public desire for clearer, more mainstream positions, and a leadership contest that lacks a definitive frontrunner. The electorate's gaze is fixed on both the Liberal Party's internal discourse and the government's ability to translate high-profile meetings into demonstrably beneficial outcomes for the nation.